All MRL's status report. If you would like to obtain information on maximum residue levels for crop active combinations, regardless of whether or not they're registered for use in South Africa, you can use the following steps to retrieve the information from Agri-Intel. On the main menu, please select Residue Management. A new menu will open to reveal 3 different sections. The second section is All MRL's Status Report. In this section, you'll be able to obtain information on local and international MRL values for crop active combinations that are either registered or not registered for use in South Africa. You will also be able to find information on the private standard requirements of various international retailers for use and residues of pesticides. But the information will only show in the reports for the crop active combinations which are registered in South Africa. Please note that PHI information is not available in this section. 2 different types of reports are available for selection: search by crop or use, or search by active ingredient. For the purpose of this demonstration, we'll be looking at a search by active ingredient report. Firstly, you need to select your active ingredient from the drop-down list. Here you will see all the active ingredients which we have in the database. I'm selecting chlorpyrifos as an example. After selecting your active, you will now notice that the crops or uses will not adjust. It will still show you all the crops or uses which we have available in the database, and not just the crops or uses which chlorpyrifos is registered for. Select the crops of interest. And next you need to select your destination, which is the country for which you would like to see the MRL information. I'm selecting a few countries as an example. Next, you can select your market or retailer information. This is an optional selection, so if you don't want to look at market requirements, you can leave this section blank. I'm going to be selecting 2 markets as an example. After you've made all your selections, you can click on Submit to proceed to the report. This is typically what the status report would then look like by active ingredient. At the top, you'll have your active ingredient at the time and the date when the report was generated. The first column will contain your crops listed alphabetically. The next 2 columns will be your EU acute reference dose values, or your ARFD values, and then your EU approval status column. Now, we include these 2 columns in the report because there are some international markets that do not permit residues above certain percentages of the EU ARFD values, or that do not permit residues if an active ingredient is not approved for use in Europe. So this is where you'll be able to find that information. Please note that the approval status column here specifically relates to the use of the active ingredient within the EU. The next column represents the countries that you've selected to see the MRL information for. And then the final columns represents the different markets that you've selected for the report. Please note that, as mentioned previously, if a crop active combination is not registered in South Africa, then you will not see any entries in the market section. We only display this information for crop active combinations that is registered. Sometimes in the reports, you'll also see a little dash in an MRL column. This means, in the case of the USA, that we went to check to see if they had an MRL for chlorpyrifos on avocados and chlorpyrifos on mangoes, but they did not have a value. So then we would indicate a dash. At the top, you have your hide show columns function. This works exactly the same as it does in most of the other reports in the database. Please refer to the video on download labels for more information on how to use your hide show columns function. You're also able to print your report and also download either a PDF or a CSV version of the report by selecting the buttons at the top. At the bottom of the report, you also have a color key along with a region and destination key and a market key. Please refer to the video on MRLs and PHIs of registered products for more information on how to interpret the keys.